So we finally made it to shore. Very trepidatious, quite a bit of surge here, but had people helping me in, which was great. Managed to get in between the other dinghies here. And the view out. There's the ferry, it's about to take off. And here's the view of town. So there we go. We're on shore, about to get some provisions, hopefully. A nice shady place to stop while you're waiting for someone or for the ferry or something, or just have a moment to spare. One little bird cutting across the road. So then I went along by the beach, a very beautiful bay actually, very calm, waves lapping on the beach, no sign of the surge that I feel on the boat. And on the way past a tiki, I think this is an example of an old tiki, very old. You've got the head of someone and he's holding on to something, a spear maybe. Just on around the beach. And this is where the fresh vegetables are found. Each table belongs to a different person, and you have to know which table you got the stuff from in order to pay that person. Some kind of a cooperative, I imagine, running it. The main reason I came into the market was actually to try to get some pamplemousse, which of course is French for grapefruit, but here on Nukuhiva they are enormous and very, very tasty. Here we see one that I had half of for breakfast. They're so big that I have half one day and half the next. Interesting, never seen banana vinegar before. A very pleasant community garden by the front here, and we can look out to see whereabouts is Nereida, and also of course the dinghy. Dinghy is round the corner, and Nereida is out there somewhere. Interesting red sand beach here, very peaceful, lapping away. It's not easy to see, but there's often a lot of rolling around out on the boat. Just trying to see where Nereida is. She's out that way somewhere. So now we have an even better view out over the bay from the dinghy dock, around to the entrance to the bay, and all the boats anchored below the mountain. A young girl just passed me by as I was walking along towards the shop here. Taiohae is the greeting. Taiohae. Okay, so here we are in the dinghy, done our shopping, and we're going back out to the boat. And there she is. I usually look for the yellow boat, very distinctive, and I'm quite close by. So there we were, chugging along quite happily, going back to Nereida with the shopping. But then all of a sudden, when I was relatively close to Nereida, the engine stopped dead, just like that. It stopped. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I tried starting and nothing happened. And luckily for me, I realized that we were drifting towards the anchor chain, Nereida's anchor chain. I grabbed hold of it and managed to pull the dinghy alongside Nereida and get myself back on board. But that was a bit of a shock to find the engine going dead like that and for no apparent reason. Well, I just heard back from my Zodiac expert friend that there is a way to get these D-rings back on the dinghy, glued into the dinghy. But I need a lot of acetone to clean off the old glue that's on the back here, and a similar thing on the dinghy itself. I've got to take that off, and I was told acetone was needed for that. And for some reason, I don't know how it's happened, because normally I have lots of it. I'm actually out of acetone on the boat in my spares. I can't believe that, because it's such a useful thing to have on board. Anyway, so that means I'm going to have to stay here in Taiohae Bay until Monday now, because it's Saturday. I think everything closes midday. Sunday everything's closed. So Monday I'll be here and I'll go around to see if there's a hardware store. Hopefully there is. And because this is the capital of the Marquesas. It's just a big village, but it's the capital of the Marquesas. So hopefully there's I'll be able to get some acetone, get rid of all that glue, similar thing on the dinghy, and hopefully, and then of course I've got to get some glue which is good for PVC, because I was told this is PVC, and then hopefully I might actually be able to raise the dinghy using these. I mean, they're good sturdy rings, but they obviously have to be in place inside the dinghy at the base of the tubes near the floor is where they need to be. I've tried raising the dinghy using the bridle rings outside the tubes on the outside of the dinghy, and that is just not a good idea, because the rope that I've been using for that kind of pushes in on the tubes and clearly is going to do some damage. So I really need to sort this out if I can. So that means I'm staying here another couple of days. No problem. Hopefully I'll go for a nice walk tomorrow. There's a really nice hike nearby and I haven't done it yet. In the meantime, I've got to disturb Albie the albatross in his kind of basket nest there, along with Teddy, and get into the mast base. I've got to take this piece of wood away, get to the wires coming down from the mast, because my tricolour is not working. The light, the red and green lights at the top of the mast when I'm under sail are not working, and they stopped on my way over from Mexico. They were fine when I was in Mexico. Before I left, I checked them out, but the tricolour lights are no longer working. The anchor lights fortunately are working. I've got the anchor light, the solid steady one, and also a strobe light. So there are 4 wires. I'm hoping when I take this away, that I'll find that the 2 tricolour lights, if somehow one of those 2 maybe has come adrift. Anyway, so that's today's job. Well, I've exposed the wires coming down from the mast into the saloon here, and that red and black there are from the tricolour. So I'm just going to put the multimeter across, turn on, and see whether we have any power. Well, the bad news in a way was in fact that yes, we do have power. There's power coming up into the tricolour. And in fact, here we have the reading around 13 volts, no problem at all. So that means that that is going to mean a trip up the mast is going to be needed to have a look at the wires up at the other end of the cable. Well, it doesn't do to get too stressed out about things. You know, everything will get sorted in good time. The tricolour not working isn't too much of a problem, because I do have navigation lights lower down on the boat itself. And we just have to look around and enjoy the situation. You know, I'm here in the beautiful Marquesas, and so I just settled down at one point, looked around, sat in the cockpit and enjoyed my surroundings. As for the dinghy outboard problem, it turned out that the little red knob to which the safety lanyard attaches had moved very slightly and cut off the fuel. It just needed to be worked in and out a little to ease it.